Not miss the start of the race. Yeah, we not miss the start of the race.
Yeah, apparently it comes for the open the entire time. Okay, so FICO right now in the last corner. During the warm-up, of course, let's see on what kind of tires they actually all are. I'll quick look at it. Okay, so FICO and Leonard both on the mediums. Cookie actually on the hard, so he's going for the alternative strategy. Is that going to pay off? Who knows? Then from Luke, so P4 until P10 is all on the mediums. Then Test Will on the softs, Rullatorn and Taco on the mediums, Clot on the softs. The other Red Bull is on the mediums, and Kagoda's also on the mediums. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to keep butchering it, so please don't hate me for it. As the guys are now all lining up on the grid, as Tesla actually gets disqualified for being out of position, as the lights will turn on any second right now. FICO on pole position for the Qatar Grand Prix with Leonard alongside. 5 red lights are currently turning on, and it is lights out and away we go. Seems like there's a bit of a delay there.
Oh, bad start for Cookie. Bad start for Cookie.
Yeah, horrendous start there for Cookie. He's going to try to keep his positions as we see FICO pull away from Leonard there on the start. As Luke actually is in P3 currently on the Williams. That's incredible with the 2 Aston Martins behind him. As Koen actually is looking at Cookie, trying to maybe make an overtake, especially on those better tires. Is he going for the inside? No, he isn't.
And Steph and Kagoda collided at the back of the field.
Yeah, I don't see any damage on Kagoda's car, and I don't see... And Kagoda... Yeah, Kagoda's gone. Not a good weekend from him there. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. But let's focus on the rest of the races. Rullatorn actually right now is in the top 10 already.
Rullatorn is pushing his way through the field, wheel banging the Haas of Zomb L out of the way. Already into P9, he started P12, so that's an extraordinary opening lap from him.
Yeah, FICO really needs to open up that gap because the Red Bull with Rullatorn in it is so incredibly fast. I mean, you can just see how much more confident Rullatorn is going through all these fast right-handers, left-handers. He is just looking at that Mercedes just rear and looking like he might go for an overtake. Actually, Bixel's made a massive mistake there on the last corner, and he's now probably using a lot of ERS to try to stay in front and try to attack the Haas. So Rullatorn has to pay attention there in the first turn that he doesn't break his front wing, because if other cars are fighting, that could very well happen.
Down the inside of Benny through turn 2.
Yeah,
just passed him.
Beautiful move there. Beautiful move.
Just did the dummy on Big Sauce into turn 4, coming out of turn 5. Is he going to send it into the beginning of turn 6? Yes, he does.
Ooh, okay.
Big Sauce sticks it in. They're still side by side, going into turn 7. Is there any way possible? Yeah, he just went past.
Yeah, beautiful move there from Rullatorn, and very ballsy as well. I mean, you have to take those risks, especially if you want to keep your streak alive. We all know what a good driver FICO is, but as it seems right now, and as we look at the gaps from previous races, it seems like Rullatorn, if he doesn't pick up any damage from the cars ahead he's going to have to chase down, is still in contention for the victory. It's like the Max Verstappen of this league, it seems like.
Don't forget that Cookie is momentarily on the hard compound tire, which means he is going to save his tires throughout the first stint of the race, going into a more aggressive strategy going on later into the race, just driving inches ahead of the Red Bull right now.
For now, it is for everyone quite important to keep that Red Bull behind. As Klot retires into the pit lane, but it is going to be very important for everyone currently in front of that Red Bull to keep him behind as long as possible, to maybe, have a bigger chance of a better finishing position for yourself later into the race.
Ooh, as Rullatorn almost lost the car out coming off turn 5. Koen was placing the car on the right moment, on the right time, in the middle of the track. It was a legal move.
Yeah.
We see the overspeed of the Red Bull just chasing the McLaren.
As there's a collision at the back of the field between Taco and XCS. It seems like there is a... Is there damage between these two drivers? Yeah, Taco has no front wing anymore, and Ixius seems to be fine, so... My apologies, I just missed Rillatorn's overtake on Kun there, but yeah, Kun up into P6 already on the rear end of the Aston Martin there.
And Lennart is chasing FICO for the chase for P1. Is it going to be enough? Lennart is not sending it into turn 1. Meanwhile, Rillatorn is going around the outside of Cookie. Is going to stick it? No. Maybe going to do the switchback.
It seems like Cookie was trying to do a Lando Norris there in left field, so like defending the inside and then braking a little bit late to force Rillatorn to back off a little bit, and it seems to be successful. So especially on these hard tires, it's going to be very interesting to see how long he can hold on as Rillatorn goes for the beautiful switchback move there on Cookie. Amazing overtake, he made it stick. Absolutely beautiful there. Absolutely.
There was absolutely no way for Cookie to hold on that position with the hard compound tire and the overspeed the Red Bull has at this moment. You see already chasing down Alex in the brother Aston Martin. Only 2 tenths behind him now. I think at the end of the main straight he will become past the Aston Martin.
It seems like the Aston Martin is actually glitching a little bit. I don't know if that's also for you guys, but he bugged back a little bit for me. But yeah, I mean, Rillatorn right now already has his eyes on FICO. You can just see FICO disappear there in the last corner. So yeah, the contention for the victory for Rillatorn is still very much on here. As he goes for the overtake, maybe it's going to be a double overtake. It depends on if he's going to use... Yes, it is going to be a double overtake. He's up into P3.
It's now up to FICO and Lennart to get a little bit of a teamwork on to prevent Rillatorn to chase them down very often. I think he only needs 3 laps to be on the edge of them at this range.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so fast. I don't think you can rule out anything. I mean, if you look at qualifying, he had a 7/10 margin on FICO. And this race as well, I mean, he started, what, P14, and as we see, Big Sauce actually up into the gravel. That's a bit of a shame.
He has minor front wing damage. He picked up a little bit. Oh, Estestrel almost spins it out, rejoining the track. So we see Alex chasing the Williams of Luke Mills right now, going into Sector 3. The Williams did an amazing job of getting a great start, but I think that the true pace of the Williams just comes alive right here. And I think that's compared to the Aston Martin, not what they have hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. It could be that the tire wear is just giving up on him right now, and that the understeer or the oversteer, depends on what the car... I think it's understeer, but the understeer just is getting back at him. As the Aston Martin now goes for the overtake. He did well to hold on as long as he did to P3. So yeah, I commend him for it, but he's all out of ERS, so defending on the straight is going to be very difficult. As he rear tires actually, going into turn 1. And that puts him
the inside covered.
Yeah, very nice defending still there from Luke.
He's almost out of ERS already. He's only got 5% left instead of Cookie behind him. He's got 80% of ERS left. But his rear end of the car is very twitchy. The hard compound tires are very much overheating. That will be quite interesting at the end of the race, Colin, when all the hard tires are overheating and everyone has a twitchy car to point it in the right direction.
I mean, I think this is just an incredibly smart choice there from Cookie. I mean, currently he has 80% ERS. I mean, if you compare to the rest of the grid, I mean, let's see. Only 2 or 3 drivers on the entire grid currently have as much as ERS as he has, and most of them are behind him. So that means that Cookie just has an advantage to everyone in front of him, which is very useful, especially if you're in this position, when your tires are getting better and better every single lap as you go on. And you can see it, I mean, his pace is getting up there. He is now going probably for the overtake on the Williams. Yeah, here up on the inside.
There will be no issue.
And Stas will actually get the time penalty there. 3 seconds. Yeah, very nice overtake there from Cookie. Very clean as well. And everything he should do, obviously, in the Aston Martin. He's doing a very good job on it.
As the positions on 4, 5 and 6 are already settled, we can watch Rulathorn in P3 almost in the second DRS margin of Lennart. He is right now. He just chased down between 2 laps, and I told you it's going to be 3, but Rulathorn has the amazing overspeed of the Red Bull car with the amazing top speed and the twitchy rear end will keep it stable again in the fast corners. You can see him just with that confidence. He's just moving the car around where he wants.
Yeah, I think this isn't just the car. I mean, a lot of people say like, okay, yes, the Red Bull is quick. Like they say that in real life, they say it on the game, right? The Red Bull's quick. He got an advantage, but getting back from the position which he came from in a clean manner, or well, a hard racing manner, right? Because we did to see some wheel banging, but that's fine. That's racing. Getting up into P3 within 1 second of the lead in 8 laps is extraordinary. Anything but using that word is an as we see Aston Martin actually doing a team order, it seems like. Cookie up into P4 right now. Very great job there as well from Cookie. I mean, the Aston Martin, 4th quickest car, if I recall correctly. Getting it up to P4 is a very good position for this car. With a bit of luck, he might be able to get a podium, but
Rulathorn is on the edge of Lennart at the moment. He's between 2/10 of the end of the Alpine car right now. I think he's going to send it in one of these upcoming corners.
and as you say that he makes a slight mistake there. But yeah, I mean, he's just so incredibly fast. He can just use the slipstream and just catch up within 2 corners again. As you can see, I mean, it's not gonna take that long. He has to lift for Lennart because the Alpine is going so slowly there.
Almost pushing him through the corners. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just so incredibly fast. And he has patience, you know?
Exactly, as we watch them going onto the main straight, deploying the DRS. Let's see what Rulathorn is going to do. He deploys the ERS as well to go past Lennart and get the fight onto Faco. Lennart is not done fighting. Maybe he can do the switchback right here. No, he just stays in P3, plays the smart and the long game. He knows the Red Bull is faster. He's just saving the ERS for later on.
Yeah. Everything, all I can just say is Rulathorn is having an amazing comeback drive. And I can't really recall any drive from any driver which has been better in this series anyway. I'm trying to think of it, but yeah, I can't think of one.
As we see Rulathorn chasing down Faco almost within 3/10 of the Ferrari. Momentarily, the Red Bull is just going everywhere Rulathorn wants it to be. It's unbelievable. Just between the track limits, keep in mind that he just went through the entire field between the track limits without any invalidation going over the white lines.
Yeah, I mean, he has been driving behind cars the entire time, so his mediums already had taken some punishment. But then again, Ferrari isn't that good on tires itself, so.
I think the move into P1 is going to happen right here. Or Rulathorn, he is not deploying the ERS. Maybe he's saving a little bit. He's still going for the move. Fico defense down the inside. And Fico got it covered. Rulathorn is maybe going for the switchback, or does he? He's playing the long game, yeah. He saved the ERS for later on. Maybe he'll try again next lap when the ERS has saved a little bit up more. Lennart is struggling to follow the pace on almost 6/10 behind Rulathorn momentarily.
And Fico just knows that trying to recapture the position from Rulathorn once he gets past is going to be extremely difficult, especially knowing that Rulathorn can sit so easily, so comfortably, so close behind Fico. It is going to be extremely difficult. So Fico has to do everything he can in order to keep the position to keep the track position until until it's time to stop, you know?
Exactly, you can see Rulatorn almost pushing Faco in the Ferrari through the lap. As we see them going through turn 12 and 13. It's unbelievable, he's on the edge of the car.
Yeah, it's one more corner to go, and that is the last corner. Let's see what he can do this lap. I mean, he has the ERS, he has the DRS, he has the gap. It is only 0.2 of a second behind FICO. DRS open, maybe he doesn't even need ERS, but he is going to use ERS. FICO goes defensively into turn 1, trying to maintain the inside. Let's see how it goes now. Side by side into turn 1. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. He took the position. Rulatorn in the lead after 11 laps of trying to get through the field. Absolutely extraordinary.
What a masterclass move that was from Rulatorn as we see the Aston Martin of Cookie going into the pits. He had a hard compound tire on and he's already switching onto the medium compound tire. I think that's a little bit early on this stage.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, could it be that he's going for the two-stopper? Maybe? Maybe he wasn't comfortable on the hard tires? We don't know, but it is very interesting. Can he stretch in 19 laps? Do you think he won?
I don't think so, but maybe he's gambling for the safety car opportunity that's coming onto his way. But I don't think on this occasion there's going to be a safety car with the wide track at the moment.
Could it be that maybe he wanted to cover off other drivers, or maybe he boxed early so he could potentially close the gap to the guys in front?
No, I think there's no way he needs to protect himself from other drivers because he was on an alternative strategy. There was no way for him to protect himself from the other guys. As we see Fico and Lennart both going into the pit lane. That's very interesting. They went only 10 laps on the medium tires, so which means Cookie has to do 19 laps almost on this tire. I think that's impossible for the tires to last very good at the end.
Yeah, I think it's a bit optimistic from the Aston Martin crew, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. I mean, I suppose they do have a strategy behind it, but I would like to note that Koen in the McLaren currently is driving up into P2. I know there were a couple of pit stops already, but considering I'm the McLaren team principal and I like us doing well, I'm just wanted to mention.
McLaren isn't doing that bad in the race at the moment. They're only 12 seconds off the lead, and when you mentioned that Rulatorn, yes, he came through the field, but he already chased down, and he is in a fast car, and it's an extraordinary driver. But don't forget to mention that Koen in the McLaren is doing a very good job, only losing 1 second per lap in the McLaren to the Red Bull.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I agree. But keep in mind, Koen has been fighting with the Aston Martins and, of course, with Luke there in a train. So, yeah, I mean, he's been doing a pretty good job. Of course, had a little incident there with Kugoda in the sprint race. As Rulaton actually goes into the pit lane right now to cover off Fico and Lennart. But is this going to be enough? Is his in-lap going to be enough? As he didn't get a speeding in the pit lane.
That was just on the edge.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's see if Fico and Lennart did enough to potentially undercut Rulatorn there.
Fico is pushing the limits. He is almost out of his ERS deployment. He's only got 25% of ERS left. Meanwhile, Lennart has 35 left. I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, I think they're going to be side by side into turn 1. Fico, of course, with the warmer tires there. Actually, it seems like Rulatorn had an incredible in-lap. I mean, he had 1.2 seconds to Fico in the single lap. But still, these new tires give an unbelievable advantage on the first lap, even if it is hard tires. So I think Rulatorn did a great job there on the in-lap.
But don't forget that the hard tires are very, very difficult to warm up on this stage in the race. The cars are heavily fueled with 15 laps, 16 laps to go, which means it's very hard to warm up the tires. Lennart has broken out of the DRS range of Fico with almost 2 seconds of the pace right now. But Fico comfortably following Rulatorn through sector 2, almost going into sector 3 right now. This can be very, very optimistic down the main straight.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I would like to note that Cookie's gamble actually did to pay off because he gained about 5 seconds on Leonard, I think.
But I think at the end of the race, the mediums will fall off quite heavily.
Yeah, but if he can pull a gap to Luke right now, could it be enough for an additional stop, do you think? And fastest lap attempt at the end of the race.
How many time do you lose when the pit stop? 19 seconds or so?
I'm not entirely sure.
FICO going into the move in turn 1. They're side by side going into turn 2, and Rudatorn just stays ahead of the car.
Rudatorn putting up a good defense against Fico's late move there, but Fico trying everything and anything he can, of course, against the Red Bull. Red Bull right now has warmer tires. Fico takes time penalty.
That can be quite challenging at the end because Lennart is on his tail right now, just into the second margin he needs. FICO picked up 3 seconds.
Keep in mind, this is a 3-second time penalty, so if there is a safety car, especially a late safety car, this could come and bite him at the end of the race, because you can't get away the 3-second time penalty in a pit stop. So yeah, this can cost him a lot of positions, maybe, if he's unlucky.
It's going to be quite interesting because Lennart is falling now outside of the 3-second gap he needs to get the position of FICO. Well, FICO is just still between the 7/10 margin of the DRS.
Fico absolutely pushing that Ferrari to its limits, trying to stay within DRS, but I don't think it's going to take that much longer for Ruleton to completely push Fico out of the DRS. But he doesn't even need to push him out of the DRS at this point, because Fico has the time penalty, right? So
Yeah, I know, but I think the strategy of FICO is just staying so close to Ruletorn prevents him from falling back to Lennart and just finishes ahead of him instead of the 3-second gap.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. So actually, one funny thing to notice, and I heard this from my producer, is that this track is actually notorious, and the people who drive this track in league races or even in just career mode, that you can run out of fuel quite quickly here. I mean, you're high in the revs every single time. You're driving through these high speed corners. It is easy to burn up a lot of fuel. So it's going to be very interesting to see who guessed correctly with the fuel management and who did it.
As we see the Mercedes of Big Sauce on the soft tires. Those are 9 laps old, quite old soft tire compounds against the 4-lap old hard compound tire of Benny. He's just chasing him around, but I think that Sompel is dragging Benny along the main straight, preventing him from DRS and also Big Sauce overtaking him.
Yeah, I agree. Also, a very interesting thing to note is that slowly but surely, Cookie is getting slightly closer to Lennart. And like I already said previously in the sprint race, these two drivers do have a history with one another. And it would be very interesting to see how their battle would look like coming into Qatar. I mean, could there be maybe still some bad blood, or you know? So that's
maybe there's some revenge thoughts on these drivers.
yeah, I agree. So, but let's just hope everything stays clean. And these two are very professional drivers, I hope. So, I think at least. So yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind that the mediums of Cookie are already 5, almost 6 laps old, which means at the end of the race, I think there is no way possible that Cookie is going to chase down Lennart just enough to get the overtake done.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there. But currently he has gained, what is it, 3 or 5 tenths this lap? At least this lap is still ongoing. But you get the point. He's gaining rapidly. So at least maybe we can still see a battle. But we do see Leonard actually saving some more ERS than Cookie there.
Yeah, Cookie is out of the ERS deployment. He's got only 8% left. Meanwhile, Lennart has 33% left. He's dropping massively back from Faco, 5.5 seconds right now. Meanwhile, Cookie is 1.9 behind Leonard, so he is chasing down on him.
So I'm getting some information from our very very beloved and dear FIA that they both have actually formal warnings, and these formal warnings, of course, already mean that they're on thin ice. So if they're going to start doing funny business.
Well, Cookie just went off track.
Yeah.
He was just pushing the car a little bit too much and he lost the rear end of the car, preventing him to stay between the white lines, but I don't think he picked up a track limit warning there because he lost time.
As Big Sauce actually just boxed for used mediums, which is a very I think he maybe run out of tires. Because he just went back to a used set.
As we can mention in P6, Luke Mills just under threat of Koen. Maybe Koen is just... Oh no, it's not Koen. Luke Mills is chasing down Alex.
Yeah. That was already...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's so close still at the rear of the Aston Martin. I mean, he's going to be one of these drivers who's going to be, very, very hype moment in the drivers market, of course. I mean, most team principal will want to gun for him, and I expect him to be at least in a top seat next season, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's doing an extraordinary job to put the Williams into P6 and into the fight for P5 momentarily. Will give him very much points for the championship. And as it stands right now, I think he's going to get Alex on the main straight with this gap.
Yeah, I mean, he's driving so fast, but Koen actually got within the DRS as well. He's also doing a very good job because, while the McLaren isn't that much better of a car, and he's able to stick with these guys, especially. I mean, the Aston Martin is the fourth fastest car, right? So
Exactly, but don't forget that Luke Mills has just put on an insane load of wings on the Williams car because it's a rocket ship on the main straight, but it's not that fast in the corner, so he just put on a very much load of wings. Is he going for the move down the main straight on Alex? Yes, he does, and he gets the move done going into turn 1. That's a great move from Luke.
it's actually Red Bull's coming out of the pit lane right now and rejoining behind the McLaren. Behind Koen a lap down. I mean, not behind Taka.
Maybe Koen is watching on from P7 to picking up the scraps when there's something gonna be involved P5 and P6 of Luke Mills and Alex.
Yeah,
Koen is just comfortably sitting behind.
that's always what you're going to hope for. As I actually get some intel here from the chat once more, as the team principal of Red Bull says, tire wear is crazy. So that's going to be very interesting. I mean, would it be a two-stopper maybe? I mean, it's going to be for Cookie, but for the rest, do you think they might be able to?
No, that's already what I mentioned. The tire wear is crazy, and I think it's a very optimistic move from Cookie to be on the mediums already by lap 11 when there's 19 laps to go.
Well, I got some intel on Rulatorn's tire wear. Parts are already 40%.
And that with 9 laps to go, I don't think the hards will last on that occasion.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be another pit stop.
Yeah, everyone is going to have to make an additional stop, it seems.
But it's a gamble. If the leaders don't, the follow guys don't. So there's going to be puncture range at the end of the race then.
Yeah, but if they're already having 40% on 7 laps, let's highball it, right?
Exactly.
That's a Red Bull. That's a Red Bull, right? So like every other car is going to have 3 or 4 more percent. So I think it's going to be a two-stopper then.
Yeah, but let's wait. I think the first one who needs to pit then is in P4 Cookie because he is on the medium tires with the most laps driven.
As Koen actually is looking on the insides here, trying to put Alex under pressure, trying to see if he maybe be able to gain some positions. But yeah, he's hunting for those positions up ahead. As everywhere else, it seems to be a little bit quiet, apart from maybe the Haas guys who are battling behind them as well. As you see, yellow flag, Red Bull spun once more. That's a bit of a shame for the debut driver there.
As we see, Koen is just within 3 tenths of Alex.
Yeah.
And Alex is then almost 4 tenths behind Luke. So there's going to be a very interesting battle going into turn 1.
Yeah. Could it be that maybe Koen might be able to do a double overtake? It depends on how much ERS he's going to save in the upcoming laps, you know? He does seem to have the overspeed.
I think he's going to send it on Luke. Alex went past, Koen doesn't send it. He taps the rear a little bit of Luke Mills.
Yeah, I think the best thing that Alex can do is try to pull a gap right now. I mean, Luke right now is out of ERS, and I think the best what Koen can do is try to conserve some ERS. I mean, he doesn't have anything, and it is always very difficult to, especially when you're the last in the DRS train, it's always very difficult to make a move, unless you have significant overspeed on the car ahead.
I do completely agree. But we see the Williams struggling for speed right now, just staying between the white lines, and Koen is just inching aside to Luke Mills right now. He's
Yeah.
just 3 tenths behind him.
Yeah, I mean, Luke is trying to use ERS the entire lap through to try to stay with Alex. I mean, Alex is just, well, 5 tenths up ahead right now, but Alex has a little bit more ERS. So he has like 16, 17%. Well, as Luke
As he
actually.
is going into the pits.
Yeah, so what is actually very interesting is that we saw when Cookie boxed, he was like on lap 10 hard, and now Luke boxes and he is on lap 10 hard. Now FICO and Leonard did decide to continue, and they're also on lap 10 hard. But that's probably because they have the car advantage, and their car, of course, gets less tire wear over time compared to Williams.
I think that Luke Mills has a great opportunity here to pick up some scraps when some drivers don't pit and they get a puncture. He's on the soft tire without any lap on it, so he's going to immersively send it onto the final lap of the race. So when these drivers don't pit and they get a puncture, it's Luke Mills who can pick up the scraps.
Yeah, but I think everyone ahead of Luke is also going to box. I don't think they're going to make it. I mean, the Red Bull already had 40% of the 7 laps.
Yeah, but Luke pitted right now, so he is already faster. So he is chasing down the other guys. So he was in the fight with Alex and Koen. He's got
Yeah,
a miles advantage when these guys pit right now.
it's going to be very painful for these two drivers. And I mean, the thing is, Luke right now is on these softs, and these softs, are they going to be very good for more than 2 laps? I doubt it. But
Yeah, with Rulatorn, Fico, and Leonard, and no, they continued, and Cookie pitted. Yeah, Cookie's pitting.
yeah, as Cookie is currently pitting, like Elon said. But all the other guys are continuing. So Alex and Koen and Leonard and Fico are all continuing, even on these hards, as there is a McLaren standing still in sector
There
1.
is a spin of Teco 104. He just lost it coming out of turn 5. That's a shame. But he is on 10 lap old hard tires, so maybe the tires are at the end of their life stint right now.
Yeah.
Koen is the one with the most fresh tires of the guys in the top 5. Rulatorn also has the hard tires with 10 laps on it, so maybe there's something between them.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but keep in mind it is a McLaren, so yeah, it is a worse car. I don't know how good it is on the tires.
Rulatorn continues again.
Yeah,
Fico is coming in. Fico is coming in.
Yeah. Leonard as well? Yeah, Leonard as well.
I think those guys are very smart. But Rulatorn was just waiting. He doesn't want to give up P1 at the moment. I think he was just waiting for them. As we see Alex and Koen also pitting, this is definitely a two-stop strategy. I think Riltorn is coming in at the end of this lap. There's no way from him or from not doing it.
It seems like Luke made a brilliant strategy call, and maybe even Cookie as well there. As Cookie right now is putting Leonard under threat. Let's see who comes out ahead. The two rivals next to each other into turn one. Cookie very aggressive. And around the outside, Cookie goes. He takes the position. Cookie up into P3 and they make contact once more.
The story continues. The disappointment after the previous races just continues.
Yeah, it was a slight tap, so I don't think there's any harm done to either cars. Maybe Leonard's front wing didn't like that as much, but
we have to point out that in P5, Luke Mills is 5 seconds ahead of P6 of Alex. They were just side by side 2 laps ago, but when Luke decided to pit a lap before the other guys, he just won 5 seconds.
But I wanted to add a comment on the battle between Leonard and Cookie. Leonard does have about double the ERS that Cookie has, and he's basically pushing him through these fast corners. So let's see if Leonard can recapture the position here on the straight, and how hard is Cookie going to defend up into turn one.
I think there's no way of Cookie defending into turn 1 because Leonard has the great overspeed of the DRS. He's only 2.5 tenths behind him, so there's no way Cookie defending this one.
That was a very late move there from Cookie, but I think it is still legal.
But Leonard has made it stick.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was still legal, but he gave me a slight heart attack there.
Leonard has the fresher tires right now. He has got the tire advantage on Cookie, so maybe he's going to drive outside of the DRS with his ERS deployments right now.
Yeah, I mean, Cookie does have the older tires, but it's still just only by 1 lap. Both of them are brilliant drivers, but it seems like Cookie is a little bit struggling with
it's already 9 tenths.
Yeah, he's understeering quite a lot. Did he get damaged maybe?
I don't think so. I think Leonard is just dumping all of his ERS. No, he isn't.
No, he isn't.
He's just so comfortable with the tires right now.
As I saw someone spin off. I don't know who the rep was. Okay, I see a battle between Tess, Will, and Benny as well. Tess, Will, and Benny side by side into turn 2. And Benny keeps the position. Very nicely defended there from the 2 drivers. Tess Will looking to gain a position, but Benny does have an ERS advantage.
Just keep in mind that Cookie was outside of the DRS of Leonard, so he is not able to open the DRS on this lap. So he basically lost the fight for P3 at the moment.
I mean, never say never, right? Still 4 laps to go. But talking about 4 laps to go, there is a battle brewing here in the back of the field between a AlphaTauri and a Haas driver, and a Mercedes driver is not too far back either. So let's see what Tess Will can do. Car number 69, trying to chase down the Haas driver. Seems like the AlphaTauri driver is a lot more comfortable, as I don't know exactly what happened there through that corner. But they're approaching the last corner. Benny taking a very wide line, as Tesla takes a very tight line actually. Benny a little bit of better exit, maybe a little bit of ERS usage as well, I'm not sure. Yeah, Benny using all of his ERS, defending the outside actually, but that will become the inside for turn 2. And you can also brake later on the outside, so very nicely defended there from Benny.
As we see on P6 and P7, Koen almost twitching at the end of Alex's car. There are inches between of each other. There are 2 major fights going on at the moment, but I think Koen is going to chase Alex down on the main straight.
Yeah, let's switch to Koen. Yeah, Koen now just at the rear of the Aston Martin here. Of course, these guys are already fighting for a good chunk of the race here. Koen using all of his ERS, it seems like, but the Aston Martin doesn't have a lot of ERS as well. And he just breezes past the Aston Martin. Up into P6 for Koen Hartijzer.
With only 3 laps to go, I think that the fight for P3 has decided that Leonard has P3 covered by now. Only 2 seconds between them.
Yeah, Test Will and Benny actually still going on here. As Koen pulls a gap to Alex of 7/10 already, and this is only the first part of the track. So yeah, up in the last corner, Test Will and Benny go once more, but it seems like Benny is getting DRS help from his teammate from Zombal. So might this be a team strategy here in the back of the field?
It seems like that the AlphaTauri doesn't have the straight line speed to overtake the Haas driver who also gets the DRS. He's going for the switchback around the outside. Can he make it stick?
Does he do it?
Oh, they're wheelbacking. He got it. What an amazing move.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant there from Teswell. If you can't get
Haas is-
past on the straight, get past in the corners as Benny tries to recapture the position, but he doesn't make it stick.
What an amazing move from Teswell.
Yeah, that's beautiful there from the AlphaTauri driver. As we see, Big Sal's actually in the pit lane once more.
But I think that Testwell has a problem. The fuel light is momentarily on his dashboard.
We'll see how many drivers are going to be struggling with the fuel consumption, with the fuel management. Yeah, Teswell's going to have a very difficult time with the fuel right now, because he has to drive almost 2 laps still. Yeah, he's not gonna make it. I'm afraid for him.
Will be a very challenging one.
Yeah, only Teswell thus far has the fuel light. Keep in mind the punishment for having not enough fuel is on high in this lobby, as it seems like Rullatorn will have enough fuel, and if nothing goes wrong, he will win this race by dominant fashion, extending his consecutive race wins. Same for FICO, no fuel light. Same for Leonard, same for Cookie. Thus far, same for Luke as well, and same for Koen as well.
As we can mention that Leonard has not come into the fight of P2. The Red Bull and the Ferrari are just a little bit too fast for him, but he did an amazing job to put that Alpine in P3.
Yeah, but this just kind of goes to show that that Leonard is a driver who belongs in the top team and is currently driving in a midfield team by his own volition. But still, he's one of the best drivers of our league, together with, of course, Rullatorn, who's currently dominating, with FICO, and with Kagoda.
Testwell picks up another penalty.
Anyway, as we are now going to look at Rullatorn, he is driving in the last sector. This is going to be his 8th race win in a row. In the second last corner, very quick. He's been on it all day long. In qualifying, in the sprint race, he was incredibly quickly. As he is rounding the last corner, Rullatorn will make it 8 in a row. The brilliance of this Red Bull driver is unparalleled. Great stuff, great stuff.
P12 to P1 with an amazing drive. Heads off from him. Cookie is momentarily out of fuel, but I don't think there's any much from him. Instead of Luke Mills just pretending to get him on the line.
Okay, Cookie made it home, even though he ran out of fuel.
Don't forget to mention that Luke Mills in P5 did an amazing job with the strategy, coming home in P5 for the Williams team.
Yeah, a lot of drivers deserve some credit. I mean, Rullatorn being his brilliant self today. I mean, Luke with the brilliant strategy there, with going a little bit early on the softs, but it definitely paid off. Koen getting his car up into P6. I mean, McLaren isn't really supposed to be there. 8 points on the board is amazing. And the beautiful fight of the Haas drivers. I mean, they're still going on. They're still driving in the race. But I think it deserves a mention. They've been battling all race long. And they kept it clean as far as I know. So, yeah, well done to those guys getting points. 2 points for Zombal. Maybe it depends on time penalties. I can't see them. But as actually Aegis runs out of fuel on the line. And Benny rounding up the points paying positions.
And whilst the penalties are applied, it's confirmed the top three: Rulatorn in the Red Bull, Fico in the Ferrari, and Lennart in the Alpine, rounding out the top three.
So, that was the race of today. Ivan, who is your driver of today?
I think that's absolute no question. I think we all can say that Rulatorn is the driver of the day. He had an bad luck with the AI in the sprint race with of Kagoda, and he did an amazing almost last to first 12 to P1 in the race, and he was already P1 by the end of lap 8. So there's no question. Rulatorn is the driver of the day for me.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree on this one. I mean, he did everything he needed to do. He was a bit unfortunate there with the sprint race, of course, the result there with Kagoda's AI. He was driving a bit, yeah, out there, but that's not something Kagoda can control. And of course, very unfortunate from Rulutorn. But he did well to recover as much as he did in the sprint race, and he drove brilliant in yeah, in this race. So yeah, I agree.
Don't forget to mention that Fico has just picked the fastest lap point of the race, so it will provide him a 16 or a 19 point race finish, which sets him on the weekend race win with 27 points, just ahead of Rillator with 25 by only the race win. Leonard comes home with 22 points, just ahead of Cookie with 18 points. And rounding out the top 5, it's Luke Mills with 5 and 10 coming out at the end of 15 points.
Yes, sir. Formula Cringe, can you please help me to remind me of what I need to promote again? Um, okay, so everyone, SFR has an esport team, so make sure to check that one out. I believe we have a channel for that as well, right? A separate? Yeah, we have a STEM channel for that, so make sure to check that out. If you want to join the server, you're more than welcome to drive with us in our immersive league. And as you saw, beautiful driving of all these drivers today. I didn't see any major collisions. Of course, some unfortunate stuff, but that happens in racing. And yeah, if you want to test yourself in a league, you're more than welcome to join us at SFR. That was it for me today. If you have anything to say still, Ivan, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we can all thank the viewers from being at the stream today. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you by the next event. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.